everybody, and welcome back to CPCA Backstage Pass, the CPCA podcast. I'm here today this week with my lovely co-host, peer advisor Nadya. Woo! Woo for Nadya. And we have a really exciting guest on today. We have a current Temple student who runs and has been the creator of a podcast about the arts and mental health. Gabby Frye, welcome. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. So just kind of jumping in, because we are both, we're all Temple folks here. How did you end up finding yourself pursuing undergrad at Temple?
It was strange. I was really late in the application process and I had my hopes set on a different school, but this just sort of came up and I fell in love with the film program. Just the more I learned about it, I became really interested. And learning about the LA Study Away program, I think really sold me. And then I came to visit the campus and just really felt like I could find my place here.
Awesome. I'm kind of similar. I also was planning to go to a different school and then had Temple on the back burner. And I'm really glad that I ended up coming here anyways. So
yeah, I don't think I would be pursuing the other creative endeavors I am if it wasn't for Temple, just because of the classes that I've taken. It's been a really great experience.
Absolutely. Nadya, I'll throw the next one to you.
So since being at Temple, is there like a core Temple memory that you have that just is like embedded in your brain? Like when people ask you what your experience at Temple has been like, or like what your best moment has been so far attending here?
Well, this past semester I took Hollywood Head Start, and we at the end of the semester did presentations where we did personal pitches. And first of all, sitting through the class and listening to everything that my peers were saying, it was just so inspiring to be in that room and to hear all of their hopes within the film industry, and then to be able to stand up and share my dreams. It was one of the first times like I felt really confident in myself, being able to just, express that. And I think it was a testament to everything that I've learned so far at Temple and just how I have found my voice as an artist. So I would definitely say that, like, that class in itself was just my favorite class I've taken here. The professor, Marie Colabelli, is so inspiring and incredible, and really gave us a space to explore our passion and talk about that with each other. So I would say like that presentation was a really great memory for me.
Nice. That definitely sounds like a super inspiring and cool class. I wish that there is no like music therapy class that is like that. So that sounds interesting. So
yeah, in the creative field, like it's constantly producing content and moving forward, which is awesome. But it's nice to have classes like that where you kind of stop and just appreciate where you are and what you're doing and have really open conversations about the process of creating. So it's really, really great experience.
Yeah, definitely. We don't talk about the process at all. It's always just like start, finish. The middle is like completely just muddled. So
yeah.
Totally. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Hollywood Head Start is the class that you take if you're planning to study in LA, right?
Yeah, so it's like the prep course where you work on your resume, you make a vision statement, do cover letters, all things like that.
So are you planning to study in LA?
I am. I'm planning to go there in the fall. That will be yeah, I'm so excited. That will be my last semester then. So I'm really looking
awesome. That's so exciting.
That's a fun way to end.
Yeah, I planned out my schedule like that, so I could end in LA.
Yeah. And I guess before you head off to LA though, could you maybe share a little bit about what your favorite part of going to school in Philadelphia has been while you're still here?
Yeah, I grew up in Harrisburg, so it's still a city, but definitely not as big in any way.
The Berg.
Yeah. So coming to Philadelphia, I think I was really inspired by just the creativity of the city, to be near the art museum and to be at a school where there are so many creative people. I still like have so many things I want to do before I move because I haven't, gotten out as much as I'd like to. But I think just the creativity of Philadelphia is something I really love about being here.
Totally. As a theater person, I get that. There's all sorts of stuff to do for all sorts of kinds of folks, and there's always a great opportunity out there to try new things and see new stuff. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, I often like look out my window and just at night, I love looking at the lights. It's so nice to do that, and also to like write when I'm looking out. It's like, yeah, really cool.
So now we're gonna dive more into just focusing on your podcast. So your podcast, Not Quiet, Just Thinking, is a collection of personal stories and interviews with guests surrounding the topic of mental health within creative fields. What was the jumping off point for you? Like, what made you want to start this project?
So last fall, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she is doing great now, so it's all good. But I think when we experience things like that, we have that push to just appreciate each day more. And I wasn't doing anything creative. I wasn't feeling fulfilled. So I went to Best Buy and I bought a microphone. I was like, I'm gonna just start talking into it because why not? And that has led to being able to speak to creators and just all different types of people and sharing their story on my platform. So it's really cool, but the motivation was just to do something creative, to put myself out there, and talking about mental health. It's something I'm really passionate about, especially as a writer, because I think that that's a great way to educate others and to connect with people by sharing my experiences. So the podcast has allowed me to be more open and to embrace that vulnerability.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but I'm a music therapy major here at Temple. Awesome. And when I was like going through your list of like episodes, I found the art therapy one. So I immediately like listened to that. So it's really cool, like, especially like for people like in my field to have podcasts like this, where like we kind of get to like talk and have like a little platform to be like, this is what we actually do. This is what it's like. So thanks for creating like that space to like have those like conversations about people like not only in the mental health field, but also in the creative arts field, because there's so much overlap. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're definitely connected. And I think mental health also, I mean, everyone experiences mental health challenges, even if that's stress, challenges with confidence and communication. So it just extends into so many different outlets, and having a wide range of people come on and talk about that is really empowering.
Totally. And especially like, because there's so much art about mental health, but then there's like the actual conversation about mental health, like as it pertains to like how it affects art making, or like how it affects like the daily life of somebody in the creative field. Like that's a whole nother ballgame. So huge props to you for making that space, like Nadya said.
Thank you. I have anxiety, and writing has always been the thing that grounds me and helps me express myself and find clarity within that. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. I mean, the podcast itself is just me telling my story, but anxiety and how that has made me a creative person is the heart of that.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So kind of more into the specifics of like how does one just go to Best Buy and like buy a microphone and then sit down, like you start this thing, and then once you got to the point where you were getting ready and prepared to like interview people, how did you select who you approach, and like how do you generally approach asking somebody to be a guest on your podcast? Like what is the criteria for somebody that you might be interested in interviewing?
So the interviews kind of flowed naturally, where I just started speaking with people that I knew in my personal life. One of my first interviews was with Jess Jacobs. She was my principal when I was in elementary school. It was just a family friend because my mom teaches in that building. So she was always really creative with fashion and music. So we just sat down and talked about that. And as I have kind of spread out my platform a little bit, I have been able to just reach out on social media. I there's emails available on people's Instagram accounts. So my most recent interview was with a tattoo artist out in Los Angeles. And she does scar cover-ups for people with trauma and self-harm scars, which was really cool. But I'm very open when I go on social media and I'm consuming content to see if I come across someone that would, I'd like to talk to. But aside from that, I'm talking to people that I know in my personal life that I want to get to know on a deeper level and share their work.
Awesome. I love that.
Actually, sorry.
You're all good. No, I love that it's just kind of like a natural go with the flow kind of thing. That's really, really awesome. Nadya, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like ties directly into our next question. I was just curious because like I know like when I like started to study like music therapy and I wanted to go into like the mental health aspect of it, it brought up a lot of conversations like in my family and like in my like friend circle and like all of that about like mental health and like what that means. So you already mentioned that like you're interviewing people who you already know and like having these deeper conversations, but how has this like kind of like affected like your life and like your personal like circle? Do you feel like it's kind of like destigmatizing like mental health in a sense, like with those around you, or how is it affecting it?
I think it's definitely destigmatizing, and I'm able to learn more about my friends. Even I've had classmates that I knew from high school. I never really spoke to them and I wasn't friends with them, but they've reached out and expressed their personal struggles and just felt comfortable to have that open conversation with me. I've had family members reach out about their challenges, and it's things I never knew about them before, but it has facilitated closer relationships in my life because people feel more open to come to me, and also I feel more open. I was always very quiet, which hence the title, Not Quiet, Just Thinking, but I wasn't very open. I didn't let people in, I didn't let people get to know me, and now I feel like vulnerability is my superpower, and I want to connect with people now.
That's such a good phrase. Vulnerability is my superpower. That should be like, those motivational like posters like with the cats like hanging in there, like like The Office. Like that would be a good one.
Those posters are basically my podcast.
Yeah. Well, no, don't say that. No, I think your podcast is deeper than those posters. It's just, when you start making merch, if you haven't already, there you go.
It's in development. So.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur Nadya.
Yeah, for real.
Love. Awesome. So kind of pivoting, because the podcast for you is like both kind of a creative and a personal outlet, but as we've been mentioning, you are a film major and you also shared that you're a writer, which is really awesome. And I was listening to some episodes also before hopping on this call today, and you mentioned in an early episode of the podcast that as a filmmaker, you are especially drawn to the horror genre. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that, especially how it might pertain to the conversations around mental health and discomfort sometimes.
Yeah, I get that question quite a bit. So I love, like, all things paranormal and supernatural is really interesting to me. As a writer, I also am a photographer. I go to a lot of haunted and abandoned places because I just feel like there's such an energy there that translates onto the camera so well. Mm-hmm. But my anxiety was always surrounding the unknown and things that I can't control. So when you think about like ghosts and these things that, there's not really any answers around, it's more just theories and like cool stories. That has always represented the unknown to me in a way that's fun and creative. It brings out my curiosity, and it has kind of translated into how I approach my anxiety, that it's something to learn more about, to be curious about rather than fearful of.
Totally. No, yeah. That definitely makes sense. There are also so many cool haunted and abandoned places in Philadelphia.
Oh my God, there's so many.
So nice.
Yeah, Eastern State Penitentiary was really interesting. I went there last year, so it was really cool.
I love.
I want to do the ghost tours. There's a few like ghost tours in Philly. that
Yeah.
I've like gotten around to.
Yeah, Pennsylvania just has so many really cool places with hauntings.
Yeah. Oh, gotta love that. Keystone State, you know?
Woo!
All right, I'll throw it to Nadya for our last question before we have a little send-off game.
So, we know, my internship supervisor always makes this joke about like how we as students have copious amounts of free time, which, you know, we obviously do. So in your copious amounts of free time, are you working on any other creative projects like at the moment, or are you mostly just like focusing on the podcast? What is brewing in little Gabby's life?
Well, I think social media is a big focus for me right now because I just want more people to know about my podcast. So I'm actually expanding to have a visual element, and I'll be posting on YouTube and TikTok. I also just make like little check-ins on TikTok as well. So I'll just turn on the camera and start talking about my day. So it's just like social media projects. I'm also in a poetry class and an experimental film class this semester.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of fun branching out and trying new things.
Yeah. Where can the people follow your podcast and your other works?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Not Quiet Just Thinking, or you can search for Not Quiet Just Thinking wherever you get your podcasts.
Awesome.
Woo!
Wow. Thank you so much. You truly, everybody go check out this podcast. Really wonderful conversations, very digestible listening qualities, like very nice. 10 out of 10 podcast. And it's really cool to see a current Temple Owl doing something that can serve not just you, but also the community. So very nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So to wrap up, we like to end every episode of the CPCA podcast with a little this or that. So if you've ever played this or that, basically we're going to put a minute on the clock and I'm going to ask you questions that are two options and you go with your gut instinct. You pick one. If you want to unpack it, you can, but that will feed into your 1 minute time.
Okay.
We have a mixture of Temple/Philadelphia, film related stuff, and yeah, just kind of all things pertaining to you and Temple. So
cool. Okay.
Yeah. You ready? Nadya, are you on the clock?
Yeah, I'm readying it up. Hold on.
All right.
I'm gonna give a countdown, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Are we prepared? Deep breath. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Film or TV?
Film.
Independent production or studio blockbuster?
Independent.
Saxby's or Ritchie's?
Ritchie's.
Fall semester or spring semester?
Spring.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Hooter or Stella?
Hooter.
Nice. Broad Street line or Market Frankfurt line?
Broad Street.
Mm-hmm. Oscars or Golden Globes?
Golden Globes.
All right. Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Oh, Team Edward all the way.
Quick. Nice and quick. New York or LA?
LA.
Eagles or Phillies?
Eagles.
All right. Pats or Genos?
I don't know.
All good. We can skip. Skip? Okay. Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Rom-com or action?
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll never know.
You can answer that one if you want.
Rom-com.
Fair. Solid choice. All right. You made it through 13 out of 20.
Okay.
I don't know. Who have we had beat so far this season? Anybody?
I don't think anyone.
Dang. We're really... Maybe we should give him a minute and 10 seconds or something. I don't know.
I think we need to be faster.
All right. We're taking notes for next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Have to get our auctioneer voice out.
No, literally. Figure it out. Well, once again, thank you so much, Gabby. It was so lovely to chat with you. Go ahead and follow her podcast at Not Quiet Just Thinking, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy spring break, owls. There will be no new episode next week because it's spring break. So have a good time. Get ready for priority registration coming up at the end of March. And yeah, see ya. Bye.
See you.
Bye.